Solo Taijutsu Lesson 76 continues our exploration of recovering from contact during Kuri Kaeshi into a strike, with the focus of this lesson being a descending diagonal strike that ends on the same side of the body where it began. To learn the movement of this strike, practice from both diagonal and horizontal entry Kuri Kaeshi. At the approximate point the bow would make contact with an opponent, snap the forward hand back to the hip, while rotating the other hand clockwise and forward into a descending diagonal strike, shifting the hands to facilitate reach. Once familiar with the basic movement of the strike, practice mapping the transition and the strike in relationship to a target in the environment. Apply directional footwork to both diagonal and horizontal Kuri Kaeshi, as well as directional intention in the descending strike. In the dojo, practice of these strikes may be more rigid. When practicing at home, it's imperative to experiment with direction, depth, and angles, starting from both stationary and in-motion approaches. Caution: if making contact with a target, inspect your target and your training tool often for damage such as cracks, dents, and missing pieces. Discard any cracked targets or tools, as these may cause airborne splinters if pieces break off during your practice. If striking a firm target, avoid using a training tool you cannot easily replace. Padding the target will help increase the longevity of both target and training tool. If taking risks with improvised tools and targets, consider wearing eye, neck, chest, and wrist protection while you train to guard against flying shards and other unexpected debris. After mapping the strikes in relationship to a target, practice striking the target to learn and control the rebound of the contact. Practice making contact in the Kuri Kaeshi, making contact with the recovery strike, and making contact with both strikes. Play with speed, depth, and intensity while learning the rebound of your training tool against your target, or against various targets. Once you have practiced controlling the rebound of the strike, add directional footwork to the movement to explore distance and angles, moving forwards, sideways, and backwards in the Kuri Kaeshi, and advancing or retreating with the strike. With forwards entry Kuri Kaeshi, practice advancing and retreating recovery strikes. Experiment with depth and distance in the sequence, varying the height at which the recovery strike makes contact. Explore variations created by small adjustments in the footwork to find the optimal path into the recovery strike. With sideways entry Kuri Kaeshi, practice advancing and retreating recovery strikes, experimenting with depth and distance in the sequence, varying the height at which the recovery strike makes contact, varying the angle of the recovery strike, and varying what part of the staff makes contact in the sequence. Experiment with large steps to the side, as well as with subtle sideways movement. Experiment with contacting the target once or twice in the sequence. Notice the difference in force generation available in a sideways entry versus a forwards entry. With backwards entry Kuri Kaeshi, practice advancing and retreating recovery strikes, experimenting with depth and distance in the sequence, varying the height at which the recovery strike makes contact, and varying the angle of the recovery strike. Practice striking with just the recovery strike, or with both the transition and the strike. Notice the difference in force generation available in a backwards entry versus a sideways or forwards entry. Our solo Taijutsu lesson series is designed to keep you moving and improving while training alone at home or otherwise outside of the dojo. This lesson is a starting point and demonstration of a solo practice that you can expand upon for your own studies.